So why don't we just dive right in? I mean, what you shared with me when we were chatting yesterday about how high-income professionals, doctors, dentists, people that are using short-term rentals as their investment vehicle to build wealth, whether they only have one property or like you've shared, we're going to talk about some of these stories today of people that own 10, 15 properties who are super experienced pros, have been given false information and are more exposed than they realize.
Sure, absolutely.
So I don't know where to start, but why don't we just start with a little bit of your backstory, how you became an attorney and how you got into helping investors protect themselves. Why don't we start there? That's a good place.
Yeah, so I started off as a litigator. So came right out of law school, worked at the district attorney's office 5.5 years, tried everything from shoplifting to capital murder cases. I came from there, left, started my own law practice, and started a criminal defense practice that I scaled, moved my way out of that. But during that period of time, learned how to build a business, kind of transitioned my way into a new law firm, which was a personal injury law firm. Okay. And so for the last decade or so in that personal injury law firm, I was kind of the big bad wolf on the other side, bringing lawsuits against short-term rental owners, commercial property owners for what's called premises liability events. So slip and falls, swimming pool accidents, you name it. Now, for a long time, I didn't really, that was just my gig, right? That's what I did. So I had no problem with bringing these lawsuits, and I would see how unsophisticated a lot of the market was in terms of particularly short-term rentals, but I didn't own any short-term rentals. Okay. And now where the transition came for me is when my wife and I began to invest in short-term rentals, right? So now we grew our portfolio as we began to expand it. As first time I bought a short-term rental, the first thing I thought was all the stories that came back through my head in the past when I would come into court, bring a lawsuit against a short-term rental owner, and I would say, wait a minute, here's what works, here's what doesn't work. And immediately, I wanted to take my rentals, put them in the most protective structure that I knew. And of course, I like to share information with people. So I started talking to some other folks that are in short-term rental space.